Welcome, and thanks for joining us today for today's webinar on autonomic products. I'm Ricky Pishoff, and I'm the Technical Training Manager at SnapAV, and I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. Before we get started, let's go through a few quick housekeeping items. First, we will be recording the presentation, and we'll send you a copy by email within the next few days. That email will also include a coupon code for 25% off your next autonomic purchase. Okay, now I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Aaron Casina, who is the Director of International Business Development. Welcome, Aaron, and let me pass the mic over to you.
Thank you, Ricky. Well, today we're talking about Autonomic, a superior streaming audio solution, and we're going to touch on some topics, which is multi-room audio category, product portfolio, integrator solutions with eAudiocast. We'll get into some new product, the user experience, what your customers experience, and then selling against the competition out there in the marketplace. So let's talk about the multi-room audio market. We've got systems integrators that report the top 3 categories for revenue as follows. Home theater leads, but distributed audio is second place, right on par with almost control systems coming in third place. On average, AV integrators installed an estimated 23 audio systems in 2015 with annual revenues averaging $23,000 apiece. The market is expected to rise to $16 billion. Now, we got this data from CEDIA, and so $16 billion by 2020. I know it sounds big, but audio is definitely hot and it's a growing market. So what are customers looking for in a multi-room audio? Obviously, convenient access to music throughout the home with innovative and intuitive features and functionality, allowing playback of personal music, which I'm going to touch on with Autonomic later on in the webinar, streaming services, and then, of course, something that provides the best experience to enhance life's greatest memories. So why are they coming to you? First of all, they don't want to install anything. They don't want to see wires. They want in-ceiling. They want in-walls speakers, but they don't want to do it themselves. It's a lot of work to do. They're looking for your expert advice. And they're also interested in products unavailable to them in big box retail. So they want the best of the best, the solution out there, the audio solution that's really going to give them what they want to pay for. So I do want to go over Autonomic and a little bit of history here. We're going to talk about just really the first 2. I want to talk a little bit about how the company got started. I'm not going to go through every single year, but I do want to talk about the fact that we started the company with a couple software modules where the founders created a system that allowed you to access your iTunes either via Apple TV or a Mac and control it with Crestron or AMX. So you have to rewind all the way back to 2006, 2008. This is pre-streaming services. So if you remember those days, everything was all about iTunes and getting access to your personal content. So when we came out with a couple control modules that allowed you to control and access this content via Crestron and AMX, it really put us on the map. Fast forward to 2016, we came out with our new eSeries product last year at CEDIA, and then of course the acquisition by SnapAV. Growth, we've always been a growth company. #1 media server in 2015 and 2016, brand leader for both. We have won industry leader awards. We've got, if you look, we've won multiple, but one that we like to talk about is one that we won last year at CEDIA for the MMS 1E. It's the winner for the best new product. So meet Mirage, the music solutions designed for integrators for integrators. So really when you're looking at Autonomic, you're breaking it down into 2 different categories. You've got music players, the Mirage Media Server, It's a music source device, and it integrates into third-party control. That's important. Then we also have our standalone solution, which is called the Mirage Audio System, which is a flexible system design. It can either be centralized or decentralized, and you can also integrate this system into third-party control as well. It's kind of that roots that I was talking about, how we started the company, tying into Crestron and AMX, coming back, and that you'll see that as a common theme throughout the webinar. So to complete the feature set, the Mirage experience delivers music management for personal libraries. Now, Autonomic does a great job, I think, compared to the competition out there on the market of managing your local content. Again, totally realizing that streaming content is hot, but we've got a great Mirage Sync tool that allows for iTunes synchronization, multiple iTunes accounts. It aggregates all the accounts into one, and it can deal with multiple accounts. We can dock or add a USB hard drive to expand storage. We can connect to a NAS drive. Omnidirectional multi-location sync. So what does that mean? That means basically we can sync between multiple locations. So if the client has a guest, not a guest house, a vacation home, and their primary home, they can synchronize between the two. And then, of course, support of high-res audio files all the way up to 24-bit 192. So, of course, we have the embedded streaming services on the Mirage OS, the big ones, Pandora, Tidal, Slacker, Spotify, SiriusXM, iHeartRadio, Deezer, all embedded. Any service that's not embedded, you can use direct AirPlay to player or zone from an iOS device. So intuitive features, we also have a pretty cool feature. It's called Tune Bridge. It's just a button on the app or via the control system. And you'll see the little Tune Bridge icon there on kind of on the top center. So what this really allows you to do is jump from music platform to platform and jump from your local content to Spotify to Pandora. So as an example, if I'm listening to Billy Joel on Pandora, I can jump over, I can hit the Tune Bridge button, jump over to Spotify, and it will return all of Billy Joel's albums and tracks. Then I can dive into Spotify and listen to Billy Joel that way. On the flip side of that coin, I can also create a Pandora station on the fly by whatever I'm listening to. I hit the Tune Bridge button, I hit Pandora, and bam, no typing, nothing, and I'm creating a station. Last but not least, that last bullet point, bounce off AirPlay to discover new music. That's all about a guest coming over, and it's really nice because if someone comes over and turns you on to some new music, you can just hit the Tune Bridge button, go to, let's say, a Spotify, and return the album, save it as a playlist, and then you've got the new content. So let's talk about some profitable products, the black boxes that make the experience happen. So the Mirage Media Server, the MMS5A and the MMS2A are really our bread and butter servers today. The MMS5A, the differences between the two are in blue. So the MMS5A has 6 streams of audio, a 1 terabyte onboard hard drive, and a 24-bit 192 DAC built in. Compared to the MMS2A, we've got 3 streams of audio, 128 gigabyte SSD, and a different DAC at 24-bit 96. Now, even though that 96 is a little lower than 122, it's really the bit rate that matters when it comes to high res. So it's just happened to be a different DAC in that machine, but it sounds amazing. USB to DAC, 6, that's where we get our 6th stream out of the 5A, and we get our 3rd stream USB to DAC out of the 2A. So you can use any external DAC player. That could be anything from a Dragonfly all the way up to a really esoteric DAC that you could get at a from a hi-fi shop or environment. We also have, if you need more storage, you can expand the storage going by USB to external hard drive. We have HDMI with an on-screen display. It's really a now playing screen that shows what's playing. And of course, these units are 1 rack U each. We love the MMS, but how is it controlled outside of a control system? So we built high resolution, high definition amplifiers to match. So those of you who are familiar with Autonomic probably remember the M800 and the M400, and we just released 2 new amplifiers to replace those two, the M801E and the M401E. Now again, in blue in the bullet points, those are the differences between the 2 amplifiers. So with the 801E, we've got 6 amplified zones and 2 pre-outs. So the pre-outs you could use for a surround system, an outdoor system. It's just a nice way to tie in an external system into the amplifier. We upped the sources in. The 800 used to be 8 sources. This is now 12 sources on the 801E. In the 401E, we've got 4 amplified zones, 6 sources in. And then I do want to mention something about the wattage. So it's 50 watts per channel at 8 ohms, 4 ohms stable. First you're thinking, well, I know there's some other stuff out there that's more, but the difference is this is a true RMS rating, continuous power. We didn't peak power rate this or play games with the ohms like 6 ohms to get it up to 75 watts. It's a true 50 watts per channel, and the feedback we get from our dealers that use these is they're more powerful than they thought they would be. So you can see the rest of the specs are the same for the both of them. And we're just going to click to the next slide and talk about a centralized, elegant, high-resolution whole-home audio system. So here we have what we call central sound, and this is your typical home run solution for distributed audio. So I've got an M801E on the bottom and an MMS5A on the top, and so we've got a total of 6 streams of audio, up to 12 inputs, 6 powered zones that's running to my in-walls and my ceilings and even floor standing speakers. And then you can see where those 2 little RCA inputs are, outputs. You could run to an outdoor landscape system. Tie in keypads, tie in Lutron and our app and the on-screen display, and you've got a complete system. Not only do you have a complete system, but you could take a satellite or cable box, tie it into the system. You want to hear the game throughout the entire house. It's very easy to do. So expandable up to 96 zones. So how do we do that? We bus the audio in and out of the coax digital ins and outs on the amplifiers. So everything stays in the digital domain until the final stage out. So we're not like up converting or down converting. It stays at 24-bit 96 until the final stage out. As far as network connection, you can just daisy chain the amplifiers together, and it's 1 connection on the switch. And that's because the amplifiers actually have built-in switches in them. So to kind of wrap up the central sound, we've got 6 streams of audio, 96 zones, and a full high-res system that can play any of these services, and you can control it multiple ways, as we mentioned: Lutron, keypads, the app, you name it. Okay, so now we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk about eSeries, high-resolution audio over Ethernet, a new flexible decentralized audio system solution. So what is eSeries? So eSeries is based on eAudioCast, which is proprietary technology that streams audio over Ethernet. It's flexible in design. It allows for a complete decentralized installation. So what do I mean by that? So you can drop any of the eSeries, so those new eSeries amps and a streamer I'm about ready to show you, you can drop them anywhere on the network in the home, and they'll talk to one another and transmit audio over Ethernet. We also have unique form factors in the MMS1E and the 120. We'll get to those models. And eAudioCast works only when paired with eSeries products. So no physical audio connections are required from eSeries to eSeries products. Let's meet the eSeries lineup. The Mirage Music Server eSeries, the MMS has evolved. So we launched this at CEDIA last year, 2016. The MMS 1E, the long-awaited single streamer from Autonomic. So single stream with third-party amplification, but I'm going to throw a little curveball at you here. If you use our amplifiers, you actually get 2 streams out of this guy over Ethernet to the amplifiers. So an easy way to remember, if you're using the physical connections on the streamer, it's a single streamer. If you're using our amplifiers, it becomes a dual streamer at that point. It's got a 32 gig onboard SSD, 24-bit 192 built-in DAC, so full high resolution upsampling, wireless capable, expandable via USB drive, so if that 32 gig isn't enough for your client's library, we can break that out to hard drives. The cool thing about this model is it's got HDMI with audio. I don't know if you noticed on the other 2 models, I didn't mention that it had audio, but this has HDMI with audio and the on-screen display. Multi-format output. So what do we mean? This thing's loaded with outputs. USB to DAC, analog, coax digital, HDMI with audio, all synced, all present or hot at the same time. And for you Crestron dealers out there, it's a direct NSP1 drop-in replacement. You pull out the NSP1, you drop in the MMS 1E, and with no programming, the system just works. So, and the other thing that I didn't want to leave out is it has the same features. I always want, because I get asked this all the time. Does it have the same features as the 2A and the 5A? Absolutely, 100%. So Mirage Digital Amplifiers eSeries, we're going to look at the M120E. This is a utility amplifier that we released alongside the MMS 1E to go along with it in a different form factor. So it's 4 zones of audio, 30 watts per zone, 2 local inputs, 2 output pass-through. You can decentralize on the network, which we've been talking about, scalable up to 96 zones, and 2 keypad ports. So let's dig in a little deeper. So we've got 4 zones, it's 30 watts per zone. Again, we rate our amplifiers at true RMS, continuous power rating. We've got 2 inputs, so source 1 is RCA analog. Source 2 is pretty cool because it ships with a balun that you could run RJ45 Cat5 and have a remote input source. The 2 digital pass-throughs mirrored to zone 1 and 2. So in this case, think about like a pool house, for example. You've got in-ceiling speakers or in-walls in the pool house, but you want to run to the landscaping system around the pool house, so you could use these digital outs to get to that landscaping system pretty easily. Provisions for 2 keypads and 4 zones, so you just make a choice of where you want to put those keypads. And then, of course, Ethernet wired into a switch. And again, you can drop these guys anywhere on the network. And then we also have a wireless option that we call it straight connect from the MMS 1E to the M120E. Now I'm going to touch back on the Mirage digital amplifiers. The M801E is new. The 401E is new, and these can be used with the MMS 1E. And again, 6 amplified zones, 2 pre-outs, 12 sources, 4 amplified zones, 6 sources. So how does eAudiocast work? MMS eSeries, Mirage eSeries amplifiers equals Mirage Audio System eSeries. The Mirage Audio System eSeries, now this is a nice little diagram. It shows you visually how you can decentralize the system. So you've got an M120 on the 3rd level, an M801E on the 2nd level, and then you got your streamer maybe down in the basement with the networking gear. So it's totally decentralized. You can run keypads off of this guy. And the other thing I want to point out is you can run up to 32 simultaneous eAudiocast streams into 96 zones. So 32 streams, if you're using our amplifiers, that's 16 MMS1Es. Again, decentralized components, less wiring, distribute to local audio sources. That's a good point I should point out. So it's global. When you've got an input coming into one of these amplifiers, that signal is a global signal. It can be played back in any zone. So here's an example of 4 eAudiocast streams with global inputs, 16 rooms, 14 powered, and 2 preamps. So I've got 2 streamers, all 3 different amplifiers all combined for a certain application. So getting started with eSeries, let's talk about the affordable base package. Mirage Audio System eSeries Starter Pack, the MAS 4-2E retails at $19.95. That's $4.95 a zone or so. That's right on top of some of our competition out there. 2 eAudiocast streams, 4 rooms. eAudiocast eliminates the need for audio connections. Again, high res, and you've got your local ins and outs on that system as well. Now we do have a wireless system option. It's really kind of like a problem solver if you think about the straight connect, because you can only use one MMS1E and one M120E in this system, but it's great again for that guest house, the carriage house, you know, your clients that just have those extra structure on the network and on the property. So the complete package, we did want to show what the system was designed for. It goes into a structured media enclosure. Obviously the structured media enclosure is not included. Add a keypad for $300, and for $2,300 retail, you've got a 2-stream 4-zone system complete with app control and a keypad to boot as well. So eSeries really presents some interesting market opportunities. It's an attainable single-stream price point for complete control integration, or a standalone audio system for that hi-fi system if you want to bring in a high-resolution player. It's also an attainable Mirage Audio System price point because it's decentralized. You could use it in MDUs, multi-dwelling units, production home, and also even the security channel because of its flexibility and its ease of use. So remote management system, I want to touch on just for a second here. We're talking about no more truck rolls. So we're going to look at the dealer zone, and what this allows you to do, it's basically a company portal for yourself that allows you to assign roles within your company to manage different things. You'll have an administrator, you'll have tech support guys that can tunnel into the server itself. But I think that's really the point here, is you can manage all Mirage devices. You can tunnel into the configuration page from your office. You can reboot the system. You can push firmware. You can manage leads. And we do have eSeries to oversee. So those of you who are familiar with Snap and Oversee, we do tie the eSeries into Oversee as well. And we'll have more support on that coming. But until that time, we still got you covered with the dealer zone. So let's talk about the third-party control for eSeries, controlling eAudiocast streams. So third-party integration, IP control protocol documentation, we have this available for you for two-way IP control of Mirage products. Sample programs and control drivers are available for most of the major platforms. So everything you see listed there, we've got sample programs and control drivers ready to go. But I just wanted to point out the fact that this is IP controllable product. So, and we do produce documentation for you to control the product via IP. So controlling eAudiocast, so if you built a system like we were looking at that circular diagram before, if you build a system using the MMS-1E and our amplifiers, we do have drivers for Control 4 and URC that you can layer over this system. But standalone, we've got iOS, Android, Mirage Media App Controller, and of course the keypads. So let's talk about the experience for the Mirage Audio System end user. So this is the Mirage Media Controller. It's our app. It's available for iOS and Android devices. Free download, compatible with MMS models in all Mirage Audio Systems. GraceNote presents high-res album art, so we pay for GraceNote to make sure that all your album art is there and groomed and ready to go. Zone grouping, you can see on the left there where you group your zones together. Individual or master volume control per zone. And then we also have, to complement the app, we built the KP6 in-wall keypad, and really, to be honest, this was built by our dealers. We asked our dealers, if we're going to build a keypad, what kind of keypad would you like us to build? And a lot of dealers came back and said, look, we just need something to complement the app. We just need user programmable presets, keypad grouping, power source, volume control, quick access to volume. So you can shut the zone down, or you can press and hold and shut the whole system down. It's Decora style, so you can use any trim ring you'd like. $300 MSRP. It comes in black and white, and it's compatible with all Mirage Audio Systems. So let's talk about the experience for the control system end user if your clients are using control systems. So Lutron and Autonomic get along very well. We've got HomeWorks QS and Radio Raw 2. Seamless integration with Mirage Audio System. You can create scenes that include lights and lighting and shading. You can recall favorites, volume up, down, virtual keypad access on the app, and custom commands can be built. One just quick note, HomeWorks QS, the programming is done in the processor itself. Radio Raw 2, it's done in the configuration page where you select your keypad and then your drop-down menus to organize the button presses. So I'm just going to quickly run through the different screenshots of the control system. So we've got AMX in alphabetical order, of course. Control 4. We like to try and bring the streaming services front and center as much as possible in these integrations. So you can see that one click away from music, you have direct access to a streaming service like Pandora. Crestron, again, we don't have the icons on Smart Graphics, but Pandora's front and center on the top there, Rhapsody, SiriusXM, Slacker, Spotify, and so forth. So that's the home menu. You get directly into your streaming services from your home menu. This is just another shot that shows the Tune Bridge functionality, and you can create a snapshot, add a queue, save a queue, create a Pandora station, as I mentioned before. So very easy to jump around and navigate the system. Now this may look the same, but here we're talking about a ping integration. So we've got our track listing there, and we've got pretty much all the same functionality in ping that we do in Smart Graphics with Crestron. Elan gets great reviews and great feedback. It's a very smooth system, works very well, very stable. RTI, again, you can see the streaming services along the bottom there, direct access. Savant, now playing screen, and streaming services as well, direct access. URC, last but not least, streaming local music favorites playlist, and everything you would expect, Tune Bridge, everything's on the integration with URC as well. So let's talk about the business of selling high resolution audio. Take a little different view at some things. So the competitive landscape out there has become quite crowded. I think we're all in agreement there. I mean, 5 years ago, wasn't so crowded. Sonos, us, maybe one other player. but now we've got a lot of players in the system. A lot of the players don't really offer a lot of margin because they're consumerish oriented type product. It's not exclusive to the channel, and a lot of them don't support fully two-way integration as deep as we do with third-party control systems. So one way to upsell is to standardize on the sales process. So do you really know what your customers want? Are they selling exactly, are you selling exactly what the customer is asking for without educating? Is your sales organization selling out of their wallets? The old statement there. So, you know, it's interesting. Sonos has kind of changed the game a little bit, and sometimes someone may come to you and say, yeah, you know, I was at my neighbor's, I saw a Sonos system, I want a Sonos system, but the real thing that they're looking for is a distributed audio system. So you got to just dig a little deeper and see if that's exactly what they want, or they want in-ceiling speakers and in-wall speakers and an elegant distributed audio system. Understand pricing advantages and feature comparison, educate your staff and the customer on the pros and cons of all solutions. Develop a questionnaire. So knowing the competition. So we've created a price and feature matrix. This is the Autonomic Mirage Audio System up against the Sonos Connect amp. So there's a lot of stuff there, but I think some things that are important to point out. Number one is that 100 watts per zone at 8 ohms. Again, that's more powerful than the 50 watts per channel, 55 watts per channel that they've rated somehow. So they won't tell you how they've rated it. We've rated it at RMS continuous power rating. You've got 12 local inputs, which is fantastic. You've got 2 pre-outs that you could run to per amplifier that you can run to external devices. Another thing is AirPlay. AirPlay is huge. And last but not least on this page, onboard local storage. So again, we synchronize. The computer does not need to be on and running iTunes to access your local content. Price comparison, a lot of people are surprised when we put this table together. So with the Sonos Connect amp, 4 zones, $499 a zone, 4 zones, $499 a zone, we come out practically the same at $19.95 at 40 points of margin versus the margin that Sonos could give you. If you look at 8 zones, we get into 2 streams of audio or 5 streams of audio, and you get 50 points of margin on that product. So we have packages put together that give you great margin that also allow you to go up against some of these Sonos systems that you can put together. Feature comparison, autonomic versus Control 4. So again, there's a lot of features here to compare, but there's top 3 that we talk about all the time. Spotify Direct. So Spotify is embedded in our system where they use Spotify Connect. We're completely high resolution on all of our outputs, no matter all the way up to those 32 streams of audio. We are high resolution. They're only high resolution on like 1 or 2 streams of their player, and then it drops down in resolution. And last but not least is local content management. They really don't have a way, a good way to manage local content. Price comparison between Control 4 eSeries controllers and the Matrix amps. Again, 4 zones of audio, $2,500. We come in at $19.95, and then it's comparable depending on your configuration from there on out. So get to know your customer. Use a questionnaire to identify your customer's needs and desires. So we put together a questionnaire. So high fidelity power, I've talked a lot about that 100 watts, and high resolution. So you could ask your client, tell me about the rooms in your home where you'd like to have music. TuneBridge, do you enjoy discovering new content? Grace Note, is your existing music library well groomed? CloudSync, do you own more than one home? Do you listen to music at work, possibly? AirPlay Direct, Would you like to allow your guests to play music from their devices? iTunes Sync, does your family have more than one iTunes account? Support for high definition content. How important is the sound quality to you? How long do you think you will own this system? Do you own a high quality 2-channel system now? Internal storage. Who manages the computer in the home? Would you be satisfied with an audio system that requires them, meaning the computers, to always be on and working in order to play back your local content? We have no limit track count, so how much music do you own? And then we take full advantage of the USB output. So is there a central room in your home where you want exceptionally good sound, or we can always expand storage as well with USB out. So overcoming common misconceptions. Educate your staff and customer. So we hear this all the time. My customers don't care about sound quality. But history tells us the consumers really do care about sound and video quality if you look at the history. 1983, we've got the cassette tape going to CD, the VCR, VHS going to DVD in 1995, 2006, the DVD to Blu-ray. Lastly, rabbit ears to satellite, why not? And then, of course, we've got the paradigm shift. A lot of people, the vinyl resurgence, a lot of people are looking for that full fidelity, high resolution sound and really getting away from MP3 files. So there's a definite paradigm shift going on there. Spotify, to Tidal high resolution music. So what is high res? High res is better than CD quality at 16-bit 44. It's lossless audio. It's capable of reproducing the full range of sound from recordings that have been mastered from better than CD quality music sources. So I put together a couple little diagrams here to show I want you to just focus your attention on the top left video. That's a compressed video file and what it would look like if we compress that video file with the jaggedy edges. Top center, we've got original, and then high resolution matches the original file. Now down below, left to right, is a 1-second sine wave. Then we've got CD, which is surprising because it's still kind of got that building block look. And then you've got 24-bit 192, which closer resembles the original recording and that 1-second sine wave. So we also hear a lot, my customers just want a few separate systems around the house. Or maybe it's not that they want that. You find that when they, first time you visit a customer and they've just got Bluetooth players kind of placed randomly around the house. But the real question is you're not selling in-wall air conditioners, you're selling central AC. I mean, the type of homes that these systems are going in, that's the type of system it demands. So is it a rack full of boxes or is it an elegant high-resolution whole home audio system? So benefits to your customers with professional media system solutions, high fidelity power, cloud sync, that's the multiple home, AirPlay Direct, these are all unique. iTunes Sync, internal storage, no limit track count, and support for high definition and local content. Benefits to you and your business, reliable dealer profit margins, control system support. So if you call with a control system support issue, we help you. We don't dump you off to Crestron. Designed for professional integration, distributed audio, multiple zone, and dealer support, i.e. the online dealer portal that we went over, and driver support. We're continually developing driver support. So how can you sell high-resolution audio in a market with ubiquitous low-resolution options? That's a good question. So back to not selling with your wallet. Don't focus on the price of the box. Do focus on the overall experience that you are responsible for delivering your client. You're not providing a boom box for a tree fort. You're providing a professionally installed entertainment system in a beautiful home for years of family enjoyment. You're the professional. Don't be afraid to take control of the project or the sale. They came to you for a reason. That's what we were talking about at the beginning. Remember to deliver on value. Deliver better sound in your systems. deliver proper integration with the control system, deliver flexibility in your system design, and deliver a professional grade solution overall. And I thank you.
On behalf of Autonomic and the SnapAV team, thank you for taking time to join us. Have a great day and happy installing.